Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a card trick, and this one is called Stunt. So if you want to, you can pause this video, go back and check out my older videos and find the one called Stunt and rewatch it just to kind of refresh your memory of what the trick looks like, and then come on back and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Now you guys picked a good trick to want to learn, I think, because I would say of all the card tricks that I know, this one is in the top 10. I would definitely put this trick Stunt in my top 10. So I hope you guys learn this one and show it off because I think it's a really good card trick. And the good thing is that it involves just a normal deck of cards. You don't need any special cards or any other props. All you need is just a normal deck of cards. So the first thing you want to do is just divide the cards out into values. All the aces in a pile, all the twos, all the threes, and so on. And what you're going to do is you're going to take one of each of these 13 cards. You're going to take one ace, one two, one three, all the way up to king. You're going to shuffle them, shuffle those 13 cards, and get a random order. Now, what's important, the secret for this trick, is that you have to be able to remember in your head in order from ace through king. So I'll show you what I mean. Take one card of each value, and you want to put these 13 cards in some kind of order that you can remember. So what I wouldn't do is to leave the cards like this, ace through king. And you'll see why that's important later. So what you want to do is shuffle them up and just get a random order that you can remember. So maybe something like this. I've got here 10, 9, 4, 3, ace, 6, 5, 8, 7, 2, king, queen, jack. Maybe you can remember this order. But come up with some kind of order of the 13 values that you can remember in your head. Now, the good news is that the suits aren't important. So you don't have to remember, for example, 10 of diamonds, 9 of spades, 4 of clubs. Don't worry about the suits. All you have to do is remember the value, 10, 9, 4, 3, etc. And that seems hard, that seems like a challenge, but with a little bit of practice, you should be able to remember 13 values in order. And I'll show you guys the order that I use. This is an order that I came up with, or I didn't come up with it actually, I saw it in a different video. And it's just an order that I can remember easily in my head and recall instantly if I have to. And it goes queen, jack, 2, 6, the 1 is ace, 5, king, 10, 9, 4, 3, 7, 8. And that seems like a lot to remember, but again, with a little bit of a practice, you should be able to remember a sequence of 13 numbers. So you can use this sequence if you want, if this seems like one that you can remember, or again, just take your 13 cards and shuffle them up until you get a random order that you can remember. And that's really important. That's the secret to this trick, is being able to remember the 13 values in order. So once you have your sequence of 13, you'll put the deck in that order 4 times, right? And I'll show you what I mean. So this is my order here. I'll start with queen, then jack, then 2, then 6, 1, 5, king, then it goes 10, 9, 4, 3, 7, 8, just like that. And then you repeat it. So you go back to whatever the first card in your sequence is. In my case, queen, jack, 2, 6, 1, 5, and just repeat the sequence again. And then a third time, queen, jack, 2, and again, the suits don't matter. Just shuffle up the suits so you put them in a random order. All you care about is the numbers for this trick. And then finally, one last time. And so, because I put the cards in this order, if you spread them out, the cards look completely shuffled, right? It looks like a completely randomized shuffled deck of cards. However, the cards are they're in 4 groups of 13. We've got queen through 8, following my sequence here, queen through 8, queen through 8, and then queen through 8. So again, you can use my sequence or come up with your own, but you'll want to put the cards in four groups of that sequence. And so what this means is that if I cut the cards, that doesn't shuffle up the order. All it does is it changes what the top card is, but the sequence is still the same. You're not actually shuffling the cards when you cut them. So if I cut the cards a few times and I look at the top card, it's a 6. If I recall my order or my sequence in my head, if the top card is a 6, I know the next card is an ace. And sure enough, it's an ace. Then the next card is a 5, and so on. So if you're able to remember a sequence of 13 in your head, if you know what the top card is, you can tell what the cards following it are. And I'll do it one more time just to show you. I've got this memorized in my head. If I cut the cards and the top card is a queen, I know the next card is a jack. And I'll do it again. If I cut the cards, I see the top card is a 4, I know the next card is a 3, and so on. And that's really the secret to this trick. So you'll start with the deck set up like this. And you'll ask somebody if they want to help you out with the card trick. And again, your deck's already in order like this. So what'll happen, as you saw in the performance video, is I'll turn around. I'll turn my back so I can't see what they're doing. All I'm going to do is give them instructions. So they can cut the cards however much as they would like. And then when they're happy, I'll have them take a look at the top card, in this case a 6, and remember it. Deal it down, and then deal 4 cards on top of it. Now, as I explained, if you shuffle up the cards and lay them out face up in a row, it looks like just a random arrangement of cards. But if I were to turn around at this point, just hypothetically, if I wanted to turn around, I would know instantly which card is theirs. And the way I would know that is I would, in my head, think of my sequence here. And I would think about which of these 5 cards comes before the other 4. And if I think about my sequence here, from queen through 8 and then back to queen, just keep that cycle repeating in your head, I know that the card that comes before the other 4 is 6. Because you got 6, and then according to my sequence, you got ace, 5, king, and 10. So I know that they looked at the 6, because they looked at it, dealt it down, and then dealt these 4 cards on top of it, because they're the next 4 cards in my sequence. So that's part of the trick, is if you lay out 5 cards from the top in order, you can tell what the first card is in that sequence, of course. So you can end the trick right here if you want. I chose to add a little bit to the trick, and I would have them shuffle up the cards at this point. Not just cut the cards, they can actually shuffle up the cards as much as they would like. And then deal 2 more rows face up on the table. Now they can deal 2 rows here, they can deal 2 rows here, or they can deal 1 row here and 1 row here, whatever they like. So for this example, we'll just say they put 1 row on either side. Just like this. Now at this point, I would turn around. And all I would see is 15 seemingly random cards spread out face up on the table. And my job, of course, is to figure out which card is theirs. And the way I do that is in 2 steps. The first thing I want to do when I turn around is look at these 3 rows and figure out which row is in is in sequential order here. Because one of the rows will be 5 cards in a row. The other 2 rows will just be completely random cards because the rest of the deck was shuffled. So if I look at these 3 rows, I can tell this row doesn't fit my sequence here. It's just 5 random cards. If I look at this row, same thing. It's just a random shuffled order. And a quick way I can tell that is because there's 2 cards of the same number. And so if you see a row with 2 of the same value, you know right away that's not their row. But then I look at this row here in the middle, and I think about the order that I've memorized in my head, and I can tell that these 5 cards, even though they're mixed up, they're in my order. They're 5 cards in a row in my sequence. And so that's step 1. The second step, like I mentioned, is to figure out which card in the row comes right before the other 4. And like I explained, I can tell just by looking at them that the 6 comes before these other 4 cards in the sequence. So I know this was the card that they looked at and remembered. And with a little bit of practice, you should be able to pinpoint their card really within 3 or 4 seconds of turning around. You should be able to turn around just real quick, look at which row has to be theirs, and then look for which card comes first in that sequence, in that row. So with some practice, you can do that really just within a few seconds right after you turn around. And then at this point, you can really end the trick however you want. You can just point out their card if you want, or if you want to turn some cards over and eliminate some, you can kind of build it up that way until you arrive at their card, however you want to end the trick. But that's pretty much it. And then once you point out their card, everything else can be examined. Like I said, it's just a normal deck of cards, so you can hand everything out, let people check it out. They're not going to figure out the secret, or the secret, because the sequence of cards was destroyed when you shuffled the cards. So everything can be checked out, and you're left totally clean at the end. So that's pretty much it. Again, the secret to this trick really is coming up with a sequence of cards that you can remember in your head. You can use this Queen Jack 2 order if you want, or come up with your own, but with some practice, like I said, you should have no problem remembering 13 numbers in order like this. And that's really the secret to this trick. So again, I would encourage you guys to learn this one, practice it, show it off to at least one person if you want, a family member or a friend, because like I said, this is one of my very favorite card tricks, and I was happy to show it to you guys. So if you have any questions or want something explained a little bit better, just ask me a question or leave me a comment in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. So thank you guys for watching, as always. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and stay tuned for more videos. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I will see you later.